now for 5 minutes.
Yes, thank you very much, Ms. Ambrose, and I appreciate very much your evident understanding and appreciation of the severity of this issue and the systemic barriers that women are facing in the judicial system. And also thank you for your acknowledgement of this committee's report on violence against young women and girls. I'd like to, first of all, before I get to my questions, go to something that you said, that you've been advocating on this since you were in grad school. And you were the Minister of Status of Women. Your government was in power for 10 years, and you just said that it didn't occur to you that judges weren't getting training. But it's been in the media, there have been advocacy groups that were pushing for this for a number of years. Was it never considered in your government over 10 years, in the previous government, to act on something like this?
As I said, I started researching. I was a minister for 10 years. I didn't have a chance to do a private member's bill. I worked in the area of ending violence against women my whole life. But after this research project that I did at university, I didn't turn my attention back to training of judges until the last few years that I've been the leader of the party and an MP again. When I had an opportunity to have a private member's bill, I started to look at ways to amend the criminal code around sexual assault. And the more, as I said, the more research I did, the more I realized that our laws were robust. So I started to turn my attention to how can we make the system better. And the truth is, there is a widespread consensus now that the way to make the system better is through education and training. And it's very basic. I mean, this is a very basic thing for us to be able to do. And it's timely. I mean, I truly believe it's not just advocates anymore. It's people in the judiciary as well who welcome this change. So I think it's timely.
Then you would also welcome then in Budget 2017, in addition to, of course, the gender-based violence strategy, $100 million. That includes the creation of a Centre of Excellence to address gender-based violence, and also $2.7 million targeted towards supporting the judicial education, ethics, and conduct relating to gender and diversity. So can we count on your support for those measures in the budget?
I think those are great measures, and one thing I spoke with Sheila about is that I hope you consider when you talk to some of the experts in training that perhaps some of that $2.7 million can be used with some of the NGOs who have the opportunity or really want the opportunity to give advice on how that training should look.
Okay. I'd like to just pick up on Ms. Demoff and some of the things that she said. And you talked about the need for change in the system. We have implemented, in terms of the criteria and appointment of judges, an independent judicial advisory committee. That committee has 70% women on it, and it also is going to only look at merit-based appointments. They are provided training on diversity, unconscious bias, and assessment of merit. So just going back to the fact that the previous government appointed somebody who was on the public record as having told a woman to keep her knees together. This change in the system, this independent merit-based system that takes into consideration all of these issues, do you think that kind of an appointment would happen under the current system that our government implemented?
There's a very good chance it would, because look, there was a judicial committee there before, and it wasn't, MPs sitting on it. It wasn't partisans sitting on it. It was made up of independent members as well. And it's all well that the people sitting on your Judicial Action Committee have diversity training, but we still haven't amended the Judges Act to make sure, or I don't see in the application form a specific question being asked of everyone who is going through that committee that they've taken comprehensive training on sexual assault law.
And actually, in the very premise of your bill, which I all agree with, I think this is the minimum that we can do. Training is the very foundation of that. The fact that people do need training, including the people who are appointing the judges. I think that I would very much like to think that at minimum there would be a Google search to see what kind of statements judges have made before a minister would appoint someone like Justice Camp. But I think that at this point, having that training is just as important for the judges as it is for the people who are selecting the judges. Wouldn't you agree?
Look, I think the more training the better, but at the end of the day, I've seen people be appointed who come with incredible CVs and then they do things that surprised everyone. So it's not enough. It's just not enough. because you can't control who applies. You can't control the pool of people that apply. And you're not necessarily going to get people who have strong criminal law backgrounds. So at the end of the day, regardless of who gets through those committees, we need them to have training.
Yeah, and I think we all
They
we
need
all
to have
agree
the
on that.
training, because they're the ones that are not being held accountable when it comes to the training part of this.
Yeah, and I think we all agree on the training. We definitely need that, and we appreciate that you brought that forward.
Very good. Now I think we've got 5 minutes left. We'll go to Ms. Harder.
Thank you so much. I think we're going to